Ah, it's good to be back. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys can hear me fine. This is gonna sound a little bit different, a little bit weird. My microphone was speaking, so let's just quickly fix that. There we go. Yeah, so welcome back. How's everyone doing? I see we've got a few people watching. Union, welcome, bud, welcome. Okay, so basically we are sitting downstairs at the moment at my secondary computer, which is kind of a little bit different. I haven't used this since the first week that I streamed. The idea was this was going to be like where I do IRL streams. This computer is not too fast. It can barely do IRL streaming and that sort of stuff. I definitely can't do like game capture or anything like that on here. But yee, got the boop. Yee, thanks Roscoe. And by the way, Roscoe, I'm fixing the TTS. It's just going to take a little while for that because I know you like using the TTS. I just need to figure out how to make sure that the randomizer still works properly, so it doesn't trigger the cannons and blow my ears out every time. But that's something I'll have to check out. So yeah, hey Chris, how you doing, bud? So yeah, we're downstairs and like the OGs might remember the set behind me, but I don't have the camera pointed to the set at the moment. So the camera's actually pointed somewhere else. So let's see where the camera is pointed at, shall we? So I also just need to add the sources now manually for all of these, so fun times. What's this? Meat space! You can see my hands. And it's nicely lit up, and you guys can see my marvelous G15 there. Yes, hands! I got them. You know, I much prefer paws, but yeah, there's not much I can do, unfortunately, and until we can get like all paw mittens or something, I plan on getting those. Roscoe! Yeah, welcome back. But Chilinsky, thank you so much. I didn't bring a drink because today we're going to work on a computer, but what I'll do is I'll refund you on the drink. I didn't want anything wet on this desk because very expensive computer. So let's add the VC source. Let's see if this works. Let's see if I can really do like Matrix style. Just me, and yes me. It's me on me. Yay! I'm also working on getting the like hands working. It's a little device that you need to buy. It's about $1,000. It's on my wish list. I'm probably going to get it like next month or something. And then my virtual space me, I can then move my hands and stuff. So that'll be weird, wouldn't it? Seeing two of me. Oh my word. What a week also this has been. I've been like ups and downs all over the place. No idea what's going on. No idea like if I'm coming or going. You know, I've had like terrible sleep pattern like this whole week. Today, no exception. Today, fun fact, you know, last night I couldn't sleep at all. So I was like awake up until like straight through, went to work, finished work, came back, took a power nap for like an hour or two and then started the setup. Yeah, I'm feeling good because I had like that power nap, you know, it's weird because it actually managed to hit REM. And for those of you that don't know, if you hit REM sleep, you feel good. Yeah, like, so I actually feel like very, very good, which is surprising. Okay, but I'm sure you guys aren't here to like listen to me talk about sleep and all of that sort of stuff. We want to talk about this thing. This Geforce GTX. Yeah. The Galaxy that I got. So I'm going to move my ancient keyboard to the side there. Gonna have a little bit more room. It's not like I'm going to type or anything like that, but yeah, we've got this. But let's turn this around so it's the right way for both of us. I forgot to actually fix the camera so the camera is pointing in the right direction. So this is a Galaxy Geforce RTX 3060 Ti, and guys, I need to just take a second and just say thanks because, you know, all of your support and donations and stuff, you know, I would have I had to wait like a year or two to save up for one of these, especially with the rate that the pricing is going at the moment. And we would have had to endure VRC and that, but thanks to like the amazing support and everything that you guys have done for me, we managed to get one now, you know. As always, my rule is always if for every like dollar it comes in, I match that dollar in terms of donations. It was a bit difficult this time around, but I didn't do like a full one. But thanks to your amazing support last month, you know, we managed to get one of these. So we're going to fit this today into my computer. We're also going to do quite a little bit of maintenance. I'll describe what's going on, and I'll tell you guys as we go through it and everything. No, Chris, I don't deserve this, but it's yeah, I still can't believe it. So yeah, let's open it up and see what we've got in this box, shall we? And we can talk a bit about the card, and then I'll grab the computer. I might have to like readjust the meat space camera for the computer, because the computer is pretty big. But that's to be expected, right? I just want to give you guys like a very good view so that you guys can see what's going on there. So in this massive box, you have like padding, and once again, I don't know why they even include like manuals anymore. It's just a waste of paper. It says, congratulations, you got a graphics card. Plug it in, you know, make sure it's nice in the slot, and install some drivers and stuff. This is, yeah, we all know what that is. That goes in the trash. That's landfill. But this is what we're actually interested in. It's beasts. I'm going to take this out. I hope you guys like it, just chatting more, like sort of camera setup and that. The idea with this is what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start also doing video game school. It sounds nice, right? But it's going to be like video game consoles and handhelds and that sort of stuff. We are going to take it apart. We are going to see what's inside. We're going to modify it. We're going to talk about it. You know, I've got a whole bunch of Game Boys I want to upgrade. I've got like some Wii's I want to refurbish. I've got a PS2 sitting there. I've got Amiga computers. I've got Sinclairs. I've got Mega Drives. I've got Genesises. Genocide. So I have like a ton of things that I want to just like show you guys, you know. And I want to like, we're going to have a school. I'm going to educate you on all of that hardware and stuff. If you guys like the RL stuff, you know. So please, if you're watching this and you like RL, let me know in the chat so that I know what to do. This thing is like, it's heavy. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, I never heard of Galac, you should have gotten an EDGA or a Gigabyte or a MSI. Although I wouldn't get MSI again, I don't like that company. Unfortunately, literally this is the cheapest one in South Africa at the moment. This is the only one that's about double recommended retail price. It's still a lot of money, but if you consider that the silicon shortage isn't going to clear up until the end of 2022, you don't have a choice. So, and I don't want you guys to sit and suffer with low frame rates and that sort of stuff in VRC especially. Because if I play like single player VRC, it's fine because it only has one camera source. But if I do like streaming where it has to render 2 or more camera sources, that 1060 I got was doing like 16 frames a second. In some worlds it goes down to the single digits, like 6 or 7 frames. You've probably seen me if I go into a world and I quickly hop out, you know, it's because of the frame rate. So yeah, we got this absolute beast here. Get in the candy store. Like always, if you get new hardware, you always have to like sort of grab by the edge and do the sniff test. But you don't have much choice in this market. Yeah, we don't. So if I went for like, I'm just going to keep the anti-static there to make sure that this is well protected. So if I went for like a gigabyte, it would have been 2.5 times the price of what the recommended retail price is. This one is just 2 times, it's just double, which is okay. I did my research on Galax because I wanted to find out about the company. Galax does a whole bunch of OEM manufactured in much like Palette. So if you buy like a Dell or HP and it gets a dedicated graphics card, it's probably going to go through them, same as Palette. Buglish! This is a 3060 Ti from Galax. We are going to be installing this in my computer today. Not the one I'm on currently, my main computer. This computer I'm on has a Geforce 960, which, thanks to you guys, you're not just helping me, you're actually helping a very good friend of mine. I'm going to take the 1060 out of the one that's currently there, stick it in this computer, and this 960 I'm going to ship away to Victor, who, like, there's a ball. There's the ball. So, so this 1060, I'm like, oh no. Ah! Please. Anyway, so this 1060, I'm going to stick into this computer, and the 960 I'm going to send away to Victor. Now Victor is always with us in streams, and he doesn't have a graphics card. He's been playing all of the VRC stuff on his laptop, and the laptop has like a dedicated, I can't remember what it was, but it's basically the equivalent of like a 750 or like very entry level graphics card. He's all over. So we're going to send the old graphics card to Victor so that he can actually get a graphics card and he can start gaming on it. I hope he's got a system that he can use, but I'll arrange with him. I'll make sure that's fine. Okay, and he can have my 960. You know, the 960 is about equivalent to 1050. So in desktop mode, it's fine for VRC. He only uses desktop, so. Raiders, GT 950M. Yeah, I thought it was. So there are 750, 850, 950. They're all the same. They never updated the chipset, so there's something like a 5% increase. Kidra, is that a ball bearing fan? Yeah, I'm fairly sure for this price it's going to be, but it's fine. Okay, I take care of my hardware. You know, I haven't had a graphics card's fans die yet, and you'll see the previous card I've got also has one. So yeah. It is what it is. So, we've got the card here. Now, there's two things on here that like really shocked me when I got it. This actually has a back shroud. So, all of the reviews I watched online were like, oh yeah, and it's got like a plastic back shroud. No, this is a metal back shroud. So, it has a proper back shroud. Not that it needs a back shroud. Yeah, here's how the premium guys, premium companies actually do you in. So if you buy like a premium 3060 Ti, which by the way costs about the same price as a 3070, entry level 3070, you buy it from like Asus or something like that, the backplane doesn't do anything because the actual default layout for the 3060 Ti doesn't have memory on the back. There's no memory on the back of the card. It's there for looks. Yeah. Do you have a GPU strut? No, I do not have a GPU strut, but in this card, so have a look at this. You see the PCB for it? It ends here. So all of your weight is literally suspended just on the little bracket there. So you can't get GPU sag, because the saggy part is the heatsink with the actual thermal fans. Farleaf, I almost called you Thunderbolt. Farleaf, welcome, bud. We are in Meat Space. This is something different. This is also like a test, because what I want to do, like in the long term, I want to have like classes, and we're going to be taking apart like a whole bunch of retro computers and game consoles. We're going to take them apart, see what's inside, talk about how to repair them, mod them, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So yeah, we're going to be sticking this in my computer. Now guys, a lot of you are going to laugh at what my PC looks inside, but it's an old case, it's an old computer. I clean it, and I haven't cleaned it for like 3-4 months, so it's going to have a little bit of dust. We'll see what it looks like. I haven't been in there for a while. Tashi, yes! Meat Space, we've got hands! And we've got me and me on the screen. This is so weird. The 5060 is light enough, doesn't need a strut. Yeah, because the card is so short, the card is literally only there, so it doesn't need like a strut. If it was like a full-size card, I would have liked a strut in case there's any sagging or anything. But yeah, I can't show any beans unless I go to the kitchen. I can get some coffee beans. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, two things that like is weird for me. In terms of ports, I initially thought, okay, I had a look at the back. It's going to have like at least 2 HDMI's, 2 display ports. Like, should be standard, right? Nope. All of the 3060 Ti's, or like a majority of them, has 1 HDMI. In this case, there's your HDMI, and 3 display ports. So what this means is me that's living like in the past somewhere with a screen that's DVI, 1080p 60 screen. It is a 2 nanosecond screen, so good stuff back in the day. And then 1 HDMI Samsung screen. You know, I have to buy like a converter, so I'm still waiting for that converter to get here. So that's the first thing that I was like, ooh, that's weird. I quickly, after I got the card, I quickly like ran and I ordered one, and it's with another supplier because the place that sells these doesn't have any adapters in stock. So yeah, I have to like wait for that. So most 3 series from this generation is 1 HDMI 3 display port. It's weird, I know, right? Like, just add like, I would have liked like, if you're doing like display ports, do 2 and maybe add a DVI. You know, I know DVI is like ancient old technology, but you know, it's still good. So the other thing I noticed on here, which is a bit weird, is most of the cards I'm used to doesn't have a through design. So you see how this has like vents on here and like vents on there. So it takes all of the heat and it actually blows it up. Well, it doesn't blow it up, it blows it through. It blows it downwards. Okay, and it's going to blow it across your CPU. So my current CPU heatsink configuration, I need to change it a little bit. And we're going to do that on stream. That's going to be fun. I have to like move the motherboard and get to the backplate because the case is old. It doesn't have a compatible HS heatsink fan, you know, backplate hole like most of the new ones does. Is it just me or is the music a tad loud? Yeah, I can turn it down a little bit. So this is like a new setup. This thing was never used for this. So like I said, originally this was going to be like a little RL sort of thing, and the RL idea was we were going to talk about like the more difficult topics and that sort of stuff that I didn't want to always like have the furry fandom attached to, but that sort of didn't work out when I started streaming, you know. Yes, actually, HDMI is proprietary. You pay for per HDMI slot you have. DisplayPort is open source, sort of. So for licensing, how the HDMI license work is you pay the license per HDMI device, but you get all the resources, all the documentation to do that. So you can then use the resources, you can see what the standard is, create your ports, whatever, but they get a kickback for every HDMI port. They get something. Who knows what the amount is. That's all like top secret information. DisplayPort, you have to pay for all of the actual information, all the specifications, and there is a specification process for it as well that you pay for. So that's a once-off fee. So let's say you do that and you get your device, you get this graphics card approved. You can now make an unlimited number of them, you don't have to pay the company. So with open source, you can actually, it does allow for that sort of licensing structure. It also does allow you to have not everything listed like the full specifications as open that everyone can get to. So yeah. And DisplayPort normally supports newer resolutions before HDMI does, yes. And DisplayPort 2.0, the newest standard is coming out in a few months. This doesn't have it. And besides, I'm never going to be that guy that has like 4K monitors and that sort of stuff. You know, my monitors, the 2 I'm using right now is a BenQ from 2008 that's on this computer, and the other one is an LG from 2006. The LG only has VGA, the BenQ has DVI, and both of them has lines across the screen, and I can't use them on my main system because of that. I don't invest a lot of money in monitors. But yeah, we digress. Hey Chris, 21% today. You cannot do it now. I know you're 14%, you're way cuter than that. Okay, so we've got the card. There's one thing I want to just do before we like stick it in, and that is, I just want to get rid of the peel. I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, fingerprints, all of that. You know, it's just, if I don't take it off now, I'm going to struggle to take it off. Itachi, 97%. Raiders is 13. You see, you know what it is. You know what it is. This is the new Stream League. Well, old new Stream League. It's the first time it's like doing its job properly, and it's not used to doing the percentages right. You know, it doesn't know you. But I sort of like this. It's plastic, you know, all around. It's not like metal, and I'm fairly sure it's ball bearing. It's definitely not a bearingless fan, but I'm okay with that. I'm doing it. It should look sexy. Sorry, Buglish. I know you guys like the ASMR peel. I'm not used to doing the ASMR peel. I'll practice it, and the next one I'll do, I'll make sure there's going to be like super nice. Well, the paint's just fine. Is it cheap plastic? It doesn't feel cheap. It actually feels like an ABS or something that can withstand heat. So if I had to compare the plastic feeling of the shard and that, it feels about the same as the MSI that's currently in my system. The only difference is the MSI has a glossy finish, this has a matte. I prefer the matte because like glossy just attracts dust and it's a static magnet. Why you want this extra static magnet to your computer, I don't know. Some people like that stuff, right? Okay, so let's go grab the computer. I'm probably going to have to redo the meat space thing and hopefully not break the camera in the process. But we will see if we can actually make it work. I'm sure we can. Who knows, you might see my big fat belly if I stand up. That's good then. It can handle the heat, I bet. Yeah, I'm fairly sure it's like an ABS or something, and like ABS doesn't deform over time, and because you don't need like a good fire retardant in ABS, it doesn't like turn like different colors like the old plastics used to. So I think it's going to be decent. And in terms of like design and that, they're using the reference design. They're using the design from NVIDIA. They've slightly tweaked. So, I don't mind it. Ooh. Good boy. She's a big boy. Ooh. I forgot. This computer is not light. When they made cases out of steel. None of this aluminium stuff. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to like move you guys up or something. There definitely is not enough space there. And like, my back is broken on VC face. Oh, here she is. I just want to take both. Yeah, we're going to have to do both panels. So let me quickly remove that, and then I'm going to get you guys nicely repositioned. Yeah, this is my baby. She's had several upgrades over the years. I had this case like for a long time. It's a Cooler Master 692. It's an absolute classic. It does have at least USB 3 ports on top because it's a special edition one. You know, just before they stopped manufacturing them, they added like USB-C. Called it SE, and this was sold for like a year or so. And they had a white version, which this is. Oh, you guys are probably laughing at my wire management in the back of that. Let's see how I can get you guys like the best view. too bad. Some multimeters have way to log it, even average its readings. Yes, they do. Not my Unity that I've got. I had a big Unity that could do averages. So yeah, you can do thermal testing and that sort of stuff on there, especially like the bigger ones. You know, I think that's actually a half decent view. I might just turn you guys a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll work. Whew. Okay, now if I sit down, hopefully the camera will capture me again and we can quickly go over what's in here, what needs to happen, what we're going to do. My headphones on so I can get some music. Okay, so what we've got here is a Gigabyte B450 motherboard. Okay, it's decent. You know, I could have gotten a far bigger one. I just want to move the chat quickly to the side. Pop out. So I actually had the MSI X550, you know, much newer motherboard. It wasn't the 550, it was the 450. Yeah. And the problem that I had with that specific card is, unfortunately, for whatever reason, or that motherboard, for whatever reason, like, it would just constantly, it was unstable, system would freeze. I tried to send it back to the manufacturer. I think Chris knows about the saga on that one. Because the only way I got the manufacturer to literally do anything is to keep it updated on social media. And then they sort of started to ignore me and I had to do like a YouTube video. And when I did the YouTube video, suddenly they really wanted to help me. But I don't like doing that. So I had that. Okay, that board like caused nothing but stress and hassle. Switched over to the Gigabyte, no hassle whatsoever. But I've always had MSI. I've had bad luck with them. You know, lots of people have very good luck with MSI. I've got very bad luck with MSI. So HIP asks, I recently upgraded to Ryzen 7 5800X and a 6700 XT. That's amazing, dude. That's a very good combo. So what I'm running in here is Ryzen 5 3600. Okay, I bought this before the Ryzen 4 series. The 5 series was actually on the market, and you know, in terms of processors, it's been amazing. We've got 32 gigabytes of RAM. The back there, you guys probably can't see the RAM, but it's in there. Okay, it's behind the CPU cooler. We'll probably see that's when we take the CPU cooler off. So the problem that we've got is, remember that this section on the new card has an open section. My intake is from this side, it blows through here, and then it blows that side out. The reason why it is like that is I actually got the default AMD mounting plates in here, because at the time I was so sick and tired of working on the computer and I've had it in and out so many times, I just didn't want to do it. Didn't post a link, dumb bot. Oh, well, it's, if you have like a dot in between two things, especially now that like websites have like .dog and .will and like all of those, so a lot of things, if it just has a dot between two words, it's gonna think, oh, that's a website. But yeah, so what we need to do here to rectify this is, I'm going to take out the graphics card, and then we're going to take out the heatsink fan. I'm going to take out the shroud. I'm going to take out all the screws from the motherboard, lift it up slightly, just enough so that I can slide out the back plate and then slide in the new back plate, which, clever me, I forgot upstairs. I'm going to have to do a B right back and go fetch that quickly. And then once that's in, we're going to flip the actual cooler. It does have enough space to go this way through, which is actually the sort of direction you want it to be in. It'll then follow the ATX standard, which is hot air exhaust, cold air intake. A lot of people don't know that. Although newer cases don't follow that standard anymore, as you can see, because you've got like hot air exhaust on top. But yeah, I'm getting down to the nitty-gritties. Some strange things you'll notice. I've got two Blu-ray ROMs in here. I've got a Blu-ray ROM and a Blu-ray writer. I used Blu-rays as my backup solution for like many years. This was before broadband was like cheap enough in South Africa. Back then, like 30 gigabytes a disk, you know, bargain. You know, it's good enough to do backups. I still have my original hard drive in here, and you can't see it. It's like there. It's like a 750 gigabyte. You know, I use it as a B drive, but it's this drive I've had like for donkey's years. So yeah, this is the 1060. This is not a new card. In fact, I think this is the first time that I've bought a new card in, I think it was a 960, like back when that came out. I got that. Oh no, my mounting hardware is down there, I see it. So yeah, I'm going to be working a little bit weirdly so that the tracking works on the camera and stuff. We don't need perfection, do we? So, for anyone that hasn't ever been in a computer and you want to upgrade your graphics card or anything like that, there's a bit of a trap. All of these slots have a little thing at the back there that catches and locks your graphics card in place, because a graphic card, it weighs a lot. So you don't want it to, like, you go into your friend's buddy's house or you're transporting the system, you don't want it to pop out of the slot. So you always have like a little catch at the bottom. So if you just take this and I just pull this right now, it's not going to come out. You know, it needs to get that catch released. So because this card has a shroud at the back, like, really difficult to get in there. Sometimes you might have to take a screwdriver, and it also depends on the shroud. You know, some of them it's just push and pull, you know, clip it down or up. Others you actually have to like pull it towards you and then release the card. Like the ones that you pull towards you, you definitely 9 out of 10 times need to use like a little screwdriver or something to put in there, because there's just not enough room. Here we go. Here's the old one. So yeah, and yeah, that's also like ball bearing fan. You know, it's amazing that like feel the weight of it, of this card compared to the other one. And then you have a look at the construction where they had to like put heat pipes over the VRMs on the side, and such a big card. We've got some noises in the air. I don't know how to check that on this system though. Did we get a host? Yeah, and you see meat space too. So yeah, this is going into this computer that I'm currently using. We're of course not going to do that now. This card used to be a mining card. You know, when you buy a used card and like sellers like, hey, this used to be a mining card, but you know what, this was in my reserves, I hardly ever used it. I was just like, yeah, whatever. But he swapped me for that X 570. You're like, oh, no, X 450. He swapped me for this graphics card, this 1060. And this I got just when I started like with VR, just because like the 960 on VR wasn't capable, you know. But no, I got this before. I got this when Doom Eternal came out. So that was last year sometime. And do you know what the funny thing is? These graphics cards at the moment, this card, I could sell it for $3,000 today, 3,000 Rand. Just insane. Oh, thank you for those, Philantes. Yeah, sorry, I don't have everything set up, so I can't read easily what's going on the screens and stuff, if someone hosts and stuff. So I'm sorry if I'm going to get it wrong every so often today. Let's find a nice spot to stick this behemoth on where I know it's safe. There we go. Now, this is the difficult part. We have to... Oh, see? That came off of the... port cover came off the back of the actual card itself. So now we have to take this graphics card out, take all of the screws out, like just move it up enough so that I can get the back plate out. Once I've got the back plate out, I can like swap this 360 degrees after I put the new one in, hopefully. Some of this will have to happen off screen, guys, because I'm going to have to put the thing upright and then do a whole bunch of fiddling and hopefully get there. But yeah, we do have our 8-pin power. Everything else is needed. So normally I would just like stick everything in, close it off, and like Bob's your uncle. Unfortunately, because this is shaped this way, it's going to push all of that hot air from the graphics card directly over my CPU. The computer's not going to be happy. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I hope everything's going well. And same for you guys as well. Yeah, I know. I've been reading up the specs online and I'm just going, oh god, this is going to be the biggest. I haven't had this big a jump since I went from like Geforce 8800 to a Rage. Was a Rage. I think I sent it to you still, Victor. What was that radio card I sent you at one stage? Unfortunately, this one you have to like get a tool in there a little bit. It's like, don't laugh. Most useful tool in the world. So there's a thin little section there. So it's good for like getting into latches, especially is what I use it for. Come on. You know, failing that, you just use the tip of your thumb. Stick that there for now. I don't normally do that, that's not a good practice to do, but it's plastic. It'll be fine, it'll survive. The reason why we're taking these off is just so that we can get better access to the clips and stuff. See, it's losing a little bit of weight. You can see the memory now. So 32 gig Corsair Dominator. Oh no, it's a Vengeance RGB Pro. I really don't care about RGB in the first place. But yeah, it's got that. That's what came with that big motherboard that I originally got. And unfortunately, that motherboard was like the cheapest combination ever. It's cheaper than actually getting it from the distributor themselves, which I should have taken as a red flag, but no. So now, because this uses the default AMD hardware, that's this really terrible design that the little clip is at the bottom, so you have to like press down on the side and then twist it. We'll see what we're going to replace it with in just a second. I'm going to have to jump if I can find a card. Yeah, if you can find a card, but please don't like overspend. If you can't afford it, don't get it. You know. But yeah, the simple fact is there's going to be a shortage for the next few years of silicon. So the prices are going to be high for the next 2 years unless they find like a super secret stash of silicon somewhere, which by the way, most likely they will, but also if they do find that, that's going to go to the actual silicon for things like cars and things like high ticket items or servers. But yeah, there's the 3600. I'll be back in just a second. I just want to get some stuff so that I can clean off the CPU and heatsink quickly, and then we'll continue. I'm still getting used to this new layout. So yeah, just got normal paper towels. This normally works absolutely fine. You know, I will use like acetone, or I don't use acetone, I use isopropyl alcohol normally. But in this case, I know this computer hasn't been in here for long. I'm not going to need like something to dissolve the thermal compound, because it's in there, right? The reason why we're taking this off now is I don't want my hands to get dirty. You know, yes, a lot of people skip this, but me, you know, if you don't want to get dirty, do it beforehand. Before you get to the messy part. Let's do the same now for the heatsink fan. Power supply 2. Yeah, motherboard is a thing that's risky to go cheap. It depends, you know. Like, yes, it helps getting a good motherboard, but these days it's changed to the point where it's really not as big a risk as it used to be. Like capacitors nowadays, you don't get capacitor failure and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it depends. Look, if you're going to do it for like mission critical work, like you're doing a workstation, you're doing it for work, you know, it's your paid for job, you know, or it's your only gaming rig that you've got or something like that, yeah, go for the expensive one. Just, it sucks to try and RMA a cheap motherboard. Power supplies, yeah, don't buy cheap, no name, Hong Kong, you know, make sure it's 80 watt certified. You know, my recommendation is always go gold, but I don't follow my own advice. This is a 80 plus white. It's good enough. And also the only reason why I skimp on that sort of stuff is, you know, I come from an electronics background. If this blows up, I can fix that. If it blows up, I also know that it won't kill the components around it, because it does actually have like a voltage clamp. If the voltage goes over the threshold, it clamps it to ground. But yeah, people still believe that thing. It's only if you get like a dirt cheap motherboard. Yeah, don't go Gigabyte. No. They used to have good power supplies at one stage, but now, oh no, do not go Gigabyte power supplies. Whatever you do not get one of those. Because that's literally just a cheap power supply. It's the exact same quality as the cheap no-name stuff that you get from China. That's like actually a 350 watt, and they marked it up as a 500 or 600 or 700 or whatever watt. Just don't do that. I have a 750, which is fine, but for me, my current setup, but I'll push it when I get a GPU. Unless you get like something hectic like a 3080 or 3090, yeah, I'm not going to push that, but lots of the CPU you've got. Things to remember with power supplies as well is, I see this a lot, there's a lot of people like freak out and they get like 1000 watts or 1200 watts. And they pair it like with like that combo that you got now, 6800 XT and a 5600X. You don't need that much. Or they pair it with my system that I've got now. I've had someone that freaked out on me. It's like, you need to get 1000 watt for what you're doing. And then I go, dude, you know that there's wattage calculators online. You can calculate how much wattage you need. Yes, you don't want your power supply to run at 100% all the time. But with this combination, it's barely doing 50. You know, it's at like peak, it's strong 50%. Yeah, you get micro ripples and that sort of stuff on the voltage lines. Yeah, we can go into that if you really want to. But you don't have to like go extreme all the time. Okay, now this is where the difficult part comes, because we have to take that bracket out, but you can see that bracket I can't take out because it's literally this one bottom side is there. So what we need to do is take the screws out and just lift the motherboard a little bit so that we can take that bracket out
and I can fit the new bracket in, and then I'll put the screws back in. I'm doing this the lazy way. The right way, of course, is to take everything out, plug everything, rebuild, but I ain't gonna do that. Also, I don't want you guys to sit through a 2-hour stream of me like rebuilding a system. Unless that's what you want to do, you can do that. I remember people trying budget PC gaming parts. Gigabyte Shine, it's big bait for a brand new. After a while, it's either fails or blows. Yeah. Like also, Gamer Nexus that brought the story like to the forefront, they're quite good. I do not believe their viewpoints on why the actual graphics card failed is 100% also correct, because I had one graphics card fail that was used once upon a time on one of those power supplies. This part didn't blow up when that graphics card was connected. So yeah, there's several things you need to consider, you know. Like with everything these days, you need to check where you're getting your information from, who the sources is, etc. Now the one thing I do have in here is I've got those special screws which does a multi-clip. It's this one. So on my motherboard it's a little bit different. You have to like push forward and then push up. There's a screw that actually is like a little divot in there. Okay. So now it's the dangerous part. Now this part I don't want you guys to see on camera. Don't do this. Ever. Never. Is put your computer on the side, hold your motherboard in, and then slowly take off the bracket. Don't do that. Now here's one I prepared earlier. Like here's the new bracket. Oh, you guys can't see it anyway. You know, I prepared this one earlier. I'm hoping that it's the right size and it fits. Guess we'll find out in a second or two. Yes, it does. So guys, just remember your number one rule: do as I say, don't do as I do. What I did there was very risky. I've been doing this for a while. Yeah. Alright. So what's nice, and they don't make these anymore. Like motherboard screws, what these aren't flat on top. It actually has a hole that's exactly the same size as the screw thread, and then they have a little metal of it that actually is a little bit higher. So it actually like clips into the motherboard. Us as a pro, I see. I've been doing this for a few years. So, some background. What can I do without telling you guys exactly what I used to do? So, I had for like 2 or 3 years, I worked for a big computer distributor. Also, I had a retail chain. This was like in between, you know, when I spoke about, there was about a 2-year, year and a half, 3-year gap, like between my weekend job. And then on top of that, my father also tried to start his own computer hardware place at one stage. So yeah, I've been building PCs since I was like 6, 7. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself pro. If it was a pro, I wouldn't put in the backplane, because I noticed that's something that no YouTuber ever puts in for some reason. Motherboard backplanes. No, I was just kidding, that's why I added kappa. Okay. Sorry guys. I still need to work on sarcasm a little bit better. But yeah, here we go. we're rolling. A little bit of flint. So, like, you'll notice in the system, it's like, I haven't vacuumed this out in 3-4 months. Reason for that is it's got the push-pull configuration. It's got the right configuration of where you're going through. But yeah, let's not get into a rant about fan configurations and oh my word, you can't see my RGB fans. They must all face inwards so that you can see them. Okay, so I've got some hardware, mounting hardware on here. I've also got the little booklet. I need to check up on the booklet what the recommended configuration is. And I see I'm missing 2 screws in here. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's 2. Okay. Oh, almost got a heart attack. Just want to see what the standoff length is that they recommend. So, you know, you open up your hardware book here and you go and let's check for AMD and Intel. AM4. So AM4. Wait. They recommend. Oh no, this I couldn't use that mounting on here anyway. I had to use the different AMD mounting. Now I remember. So let's see what the standoff height is for the other AMD mounting. Because their recommendation is just screw it directly into like the motherboard slot, which I know doesn't work. Or does it? No, I did check this last time. The actual slot length was different. So on this one you have to use these. So here's a nice tip for you. If you're working with a screw and you don't want to strip a screw, somehow have to put a strip behind the motherboard in order for it to get backlit. Yeah, look, they look nice. I'll show you guys. Okay, when we're done here, I'll show you guys the computers that I used to build. I used to do like competitive for the LANs. You know, we always had competitions about building rigs, you know. That used to be my passion. Luckily, I've got it on my OneDrive, all my old photos, and some of these I won competitions for. I'll show you guys what my old systems used to look like in the early 2000s. I like RGB, it looks nice and everything like that, but you need to also have a balance, you know. Make sure that everything's nice and centered. But yeah, so quick tip. You don't want to strip the screw head. You don't know where the screw head starts. So you don't just go and you immediately tighten it. What you do is you just go the opposite way until you feel it clicking in. There it is. And then you start tightening it. If you do that every single time you do the screw, you will not strip it out. Yeah, some of that. Okay, no, mine is built in. What are you guys on about? I kind of find RGB on motherboards to be unnecessary. My Asus motherboard has one, and it looks strange. Yeah, I love. If you do it well, I love the way it looks. But for me, the amount of money you have to do pay today to get into RGB and get like a system that's. Oh no, we've got bees. Bees at the worst possible time. So the amount of money you have to spend on it, it's a lot. And so for my personal self, I don't do this anymore. I got out of the hobby. And we're like 2/3 of the way through. So as soon as I've got the heatsink mounted and I've got some RAM installed, the RAM installed. I've got the graphics card in. I'll quickly show you guys some of my old rigs that I used to do. BB. Oh, couldn't have come at the worst time. See a little bit of smooch still on that CPU though. Yeah, like these days you have to get like Corsair or EVGA RGB fans and fan controllers and all of that to have like everything over the USB bus and a whole bunch of other stuff, which it's cool. It's just very, very expensive. And by the way, guys, if you ever mount these, you need finger trap tight because this is going to pull upwards anyway. So please don't like. They include this, which isn't supposed to be used on these. This is supposed to be used on these, which is for the one Intel CPU that's more for servers. That this actually screws into the LGA bracket on those. They're very rare, especially in consumer space. Yeah, so let's get rid of old mount. Stick in the new mount. Unfortunately, guys, there's no way to do this one on camera, but we can still chat while I'm busy doing it. I have a deep cool fan with one color and be more from Asus case, front mounted, came a variety of RGB options you can change at easy press of a button. Yeah, those look cool. But to each their own in that sort of regard, you know. I'm never gonna say like, don't be the guy to like judge others based on what their RGB is, you know. It doesn't make sense, right? If I ever say that, it'll be like really dumb of me. You build your system the way you want it, makes you happy. Just please put a backplane into the motherboard slot, and also cable managed to the back of the case. No spaghetti anymore. We had spaghetti back in the early 2000s and 90s. I don't want to see spaghetti anymore. We don't need that anymore. Those times are done. It's over. So it's either going to be this one or it's going to be the other bracket, but I think it's this one that we have to use. Unfortunately, this motherboard doesn't have like updated instructions for this kind of mounting. Okay, so we have to get the logo right way up. Yeah, so most likely all of these have to be in the back. So let's push these back. There we go. Let's see if I've got something I can use here just to apply the thermal paste. This is another thing that like everyone has a slightly different way of doing thermal paste. I'd love to hear how you guys do thermal paste. What's your thoughts and opinions on it? As long as we can keep it like constructive. I don't expect parts are wanted without RGB armor. I don't care for it. Oops, nightmare. To each their own. You know. Build your PC because you're going to be the one that's using the thing. So build it the way you want to use it. Oh my word, I just noticed something. That's terrible of me. I never did the peel on this one. sorry, not a sexy peel, I know. So yes, there's several ways that a lot of people do film or paste. I'm still a big believer in you put a dab in the center and you have it like spread out by itself naturally, and it's going to cover like edges and all of that, because the natural pressure and natural shape of your actual heatsink and fan, it's flat. So some people do like the X. I've also got the spreader tool. This depends on the processor that I'm doing. You know, sometimes I'll just spread it and just make sure that it's like a millimeter thick all around. But I've always found if I do it that way, it like squeezes out on the sides, so I stopped doing it that way quite a while back. So now this is the exception. This is where you can actually start using your screwdrivers and stuff. In fact, I would be shocked if someone does this without doing it. But before we do that, because I did like center blob design, I'm just going to twist left, right, like this a little bit. Get any air out that I can at this stage already, because that's going to save me. And now let's mount it. Here's my screwdriver. I'm going to make sure I'm holding it in the center, one side, and you always want to work in a cross. Use the camera to see what's going on behind there. I don't have to lean across it. That's nice. Get it as straight as possible. We don't want to cross thread it. Yeah. And now what you want to do is do the exact reverse order, and then you're going to go to forward order, and you're going to keep on doing that until with these, because they are spring mounted, you do actually want these to bottom out. Because there's a set amount of pressure that you need on the CPU. Well, I guess on AMD that's really not important. On Intel, yes. The LGA. But I see AMD is doing like a similar LGA based system soon, so yeah, that's coming soon. We're almost done. Yeah, just make sure. Now, I'm not going to torque these. Don't ever like go, wait down and torque. I'm just feeling so they're tight. You know, no screw in an entire computer. You need to do it so that it's like, and you like put your weight on it and you make sure that it's like all in. You just want everything tight. You know, it's not going to come loose. That's looking a million times better. Let's get those fans back in. Now the correct airflow, you know, in and out. Still going to get a little bit of that GPU hot air coming through. You can't avoid that, but that's okay. Let's do it this way around. Okay. Keep all this cable there away from everything. Might have to remove my RAM to do this, yes. So you want to take your RAM out, just two little tabs on the side, just pops out. I'm also not like putting like any force to like bend this left or right. They use what's known as a ball grid array on modern sockets. There's little balls at the bottom there. Okay, and I want to do some cable management, so normally what I do is I just hide the extra cable underneath the heatsink there. It's dead space anyway. Oh, I can't see. Save my life. Yeah. This is always like the tricky fiddly one. Because I can. Let's do it like the easy way. Do it on the long and then just push the cable in. Boss is more fearsome than you, Pharaoh. How am I fearsome? I'm a good dogger. I've been a good dogger ever since I can remember. Yes! Okay, now RAM has two sides. Now this side, that side. Okay, you need to check with your slot. The slot is going to be slightly shorter on one side than it is the other. Okay, so if you do put it in, make sure that it aligns up nicely. Luckily in this case, I've already got a matching stick, so I can just look at the place that the stickers are. Make sure that it sides into both sides equally. And then take your two thumbs on each side, press down. You're done. That easy. And now for the big one. You're going to make sure that our little latch is down. New. While I'm here, I'm just going to take off this HDMI and display port. Yeah. HDMI. Display. Make sure that latch is back up. I'm just taking my finger, putting it at the back and just feeling that it's back up. Okay, there's a lot of people get scared at this because there's some tolerance in the back plane here. And press it a little bit forward to make sure the screws align nicely. You know, it's never going to be like 100% fit. Don't be scared to just, as long as you're not applying pressure on the card, you can apply a little bit of pressure on the case or something like that to make sure everything goes in nicely. That's fairly normal. In fact, I would argue it will be very difficult to build this if you don't do that. You'll be so scared of everything. You know, the one thing I did notice on this that I don't like is the power adapter is all the way in the middle. It's really, it would have been nice if it's on the front, but seeing as a PCB stops there isn't much they could do. Now I can go and I can plug this one in there, but I don't want to have any strain on the cables. I don't want the cable to like tug, you know, where it shouldn't. So I'm going to take the last one, even though it's a little bit extra resistance, you know. Stick this in. Ideally, I want this seated so that it seats well. Put the clips there. There we go. Don't want anything left up for two chance. There we go. That's in, that clipped in. Notice how I didn't have to put any extra force or anything on there. It just clipped in. This is going to look a bit bad for cable management, but I'm okay with that. Hey, I'm with Cheese here. Hello, bud. How are you doing? Big, thick GPU. Yeah. I could have gone for like a triple slot in this motherboard. It would have been fine. Because there's no slot in here at all. But, yeah. Literally, you have to go with what's available. I feel sorry for the people that does like case themes and that. Okay, so I'm going to quickly mute you guys, and then I'm going to set this up, and let's see if we can actually capture the first boot. You know, it's going to be a bit tricky, but I think it's doable. Yay, HDMI capture. And we've got like tabletop capture as well, because why not? In fact, let's go like all out with this. Display capture. No, let's add. Let's see how we can make this like even more involved. Game capture. Add existing VC face. Yeah. It's me, and it's also me. It's me, and me. Okay, so the one thing that I notice here is HDMI capture. It is set correctly. Is the ever USB plugged in? Yeah, it's in. Okay. Now let's see if this actually works, because at the moment I'm not seeing my normal, it should come up with a little thing saying no signal or whatever. So let's switch this on. Oh. There we go. Click the power button here on the screen. Ah, yes, it works! Oh my word, this thing was painless. In fact, I should have this aim switch off because it's only 720p monitor. Ah, and that's why I absolutely love, with a passion, NVMe drives. Oh my god. Yes! I even got the YAS to cover up the webcam. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm literally going to have to use this to like log in. So we probably don't have any drivers on here. Oh no, you guys won't be able to see all of my personal files on my streaming computer. Whatever will I do? That'll be terrible, right? So I was clever enough that I've got 360 Ti directory here. Okay, so I'm looking for
The latest international drivers. Oh, these are two files are identical. Okay, that's fine. Who cares about smart screen? Yes. Go for it, bud. You do you. While we wait for this to install, let's see what chat says. Sorry, I had to close chat for a second or two. Like your name, lol. Busman? Yeah. I had that FAS has been the abbreviation for my name for since I was like 12-ish. But yeah. If you saw my full name somewhere, I'm not too concerned as well. But just bear in mind it is against Twitch TL KOS. Your name flashed on screen. Raiders, was that the one starting with FRA? If so, not the end of the world. So yeah, it's going to like freak out because I've got it connected to like a really cheap HDMI capture card, and yeah, I expect it to freak out while installing drivers, changing resolution, that sort of stuff. Yeah, resolution's correct now. How does this look for you, by the way? That looks good. Your Skype opened. We saw your IRL name. Oh, okay, that's fine. Oops. What did you go for in the end? I got a 3060 Ti. It's by Galax. So it's not like the ultimate, but she's good. She's decent. Yeah. Failed. Well, you installed the drive. Oh, it didn't install experience. Okay, I'm okay with experience not working. I will set that up later. The thing I want to test is I want to go here. So I had Firmark open, and we got a massive. Oh, yeah, that is the capture card. I'm looking at my second display and it's fine. So normally what you do in this case is I just go like that, go like that. No, come on, come back. Ooh, that's seizure inducing. Let's change scenes, change back. What we can also do here is I can say disconnect when not in use, deactivate when not showing. Thank you. PC face. So the old one is going into this computer that I'm streaming from at the moment, which is going to be like my second classroom sort of stream. And the graphics card that's in here, I'm going to send to Kitra. I just want to see if I can get the display to stop flickering like it's freaking out, because that is really upsetting. Luckily on my proper on the actual splitter, it's not doing that. There we go. Don't ask me why that happened. It just didn't like... Oh, it doesn't like this pattern that's on screen. Okay. Noted. Okay, but anyway, it was getting like 36 frames. So let's try and open up the mark again. Disable the mouse. Okay, GPU stress. You do you, bud. Okay, let's move this. Really? It is scenes HDMI. Is it the scenes overlay? There we go. I can just get rid of that, all of the scenes. So, oh my word, we doubled. We've got 70 frames per second. Yes, this is not scientifically accurate. It's not the best benchmark, but it's something that I can show you guys real. Oh, thanks guys. Yeah, you don't, you know, you guys are awesome. That's all I'm going to say. You guys are more than awesome. So yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this run because I need to like stress test this for the next hour, 2 hours, make sure everything's okay. So this doesn't, like, if it fails, it doesn't fail in the stream, it fails now. But what we can do is, earlier I spoke about the systems I used to build for competitions. So we can go have a look at those. So let's do a full screen capture. Okay, I'm going to disable, let me just go into scenes and quickly disable droid cam for a second. There we go. This really, you guys don't need to see that. Luckily, all of this, there's nothing there that's super important information. Everything that is sort of hidden. So let's minimize and let's go take a look quickly at some of the systems. Let's go down memory lane. But that is something I don't want you to see. Also, activate Windows. Yay! Because I haven't started this computer in like 6 months. So let's go down memory lane. Use my old computers. Yeah. So these are all of the old systems that I used to go. So I know you guys are like freaking out about me being like really upset with, not really upset, being like hard on people for RGB. So just bear that in mind when you have a look at some of these. Oh, I need to mute this. So this was like 2007-ish. And to think this actually won like a competition. Cooler Master Cavalier case. This was an amazing case. So full fan speed controller. Custom sleeving that I did inside, you know. So you see all the black sleeving, all the green sleeving, that's custom. The GPU didn't come with that. I had to like go and add sleeving onto like each and every individual cable. Hey, I thought I told you mute. Thank you. So yeah, that was one of the old systems from the early 2000s. Landbox was the only one that I ever did that actually got into a few magazines. So PC Format South Africa did a whole thing on this case and its build progress and that sort of stuff. So I started off with a Cooler Master, you know, completely gutted it. Okay, so that's where I started with it, completely gutted it, took a draw to it. Completely spray painted. Now those hard drive caddies at the bottom I eventually decided I wasn't going to keep anymore. So we spray painted, well I spray painted the entire thing, rerouted all of the cables nicely. Added matting. Now this is the reason why it was added to like PC Format back in the day, because I added like the matting texture. And this wasn't something that they've seen done at all. My subs renew tomorrow. My PC is a disco. It does so much RGB. So yeah, I completely stripped this out, you know, took out all of the actual rivets, did all of that. And thank you for the host. Sorry, I can't see at the moment if anyone's hosting or anything like that. The setup isn't completed yet. So like everything got like matting across, so it's all textured. Reassembly finally. So you see I removed like the hard drive trays completely out of the system. There's the custom sleeving I talked about. Now if you bought one of these power supplies, one cable, that one there, that was the only sleeve that you got with it. So this green and blue sleeving and all of that, you had to buy that. You had to like put it on yourself and take the connectors off, etc. I also did this a lot to make sure that we don't use as much cable ties. If you have to use a cable tie, you have to make it visually appealing, so did that as well. Added rolling feet to it. Custom grill for fan speed controller. 2 Viso UV fans. Custom fan connectors. And then you had the eye candy. This is what it looked like if you started it. Yeah, I went for green. Remember back then you didn't have RGB, so you had like single color. So you had to like pick and choose what your accent was going to be. Like this motherboard, you see how this motherboard is like a blue motherboard? So it like gives it like, if you have the UV tube at the bottom, it gives this blue glow. This was cutting edge stuff, because remember that there's no backplate to hide any cables in these. So yeah, this one actually got featured in PC format. But I used to do this as a hobby, you know. So yeah, I can understand people liking RGB. RGB is cool. I would do RGB if I could afford it. So specs wise, Geforce 8800 GT. You know, it wasn't even GTS or GTX, because the GT was amazing. You could overclock the crap out of it. I think it had like 2 GB of RAM. It's 2 1 gig sticks. And a Core 2 Duo E5300. The motherboard was a cheap Jetway motherboard, but I chose it more for the color than like anything else. I wasn't like overclocking the system anyway, so yeah, this is what my fun time used to be. I used to build these as custom. And you see my Magnum sawing station at the back. Yeah. So guys, I just want to thank everyone for like watching in today. And today's stream was a little bit different and stuff. Please let me know what you think about the IRL stuff. Would you like to see more IRL streams? You know, if so, just let me know and I'll see what we can do. You know, I really would love to get more IRL stuff done. Because this for me is like a ton of fun, because I get to sit and chat with you guys. And when we get to like talk about things and look at stuff and do that sort of stuff. So I'm going to raid Tempest today. So if you guys don't mind, just when you get to Tempest, just tell him, say hi, you know. He's a good floof. And yeah, let's go.